First rider we have is Trent. As you can see him coming down, pay attention to that the toe side is a little bit whippier. Heel side's a little chattered. It's going to slow down here now. You can see he's getting a good flex in the back leg, but then the heel side doesn't seem to come around. Toe side comes around. You can see the bottom of the board. Heel side can't really see the bottom of the board. Toe side comes around, see the bottom of the board. Heel side can't come around and see the bottom of the board. The main reason behind this is Trent is staying on his front leg through the heel side turn and not really getting aft at all to finish the turn. We're going to see a snapshot here just a second. There's the toe side, flex back leg, shoulder looking over, good. Heel side, flex front leg, back leg extended. Next rider we have here is Bill. First thing to pay attention to, he's doing a good job keeping his shoulders pointed down the fall line. And if we start looking at the turn of the shape of his turns, you can see toes, they're fairly symmetrical, but he's getting a little bit more of a heel kick at the end of his heel side turn. Toe side's looking pretty good and fairly rounded. We're going to dive into a little bit what's going on here, but one thing to highlight is upper lower body separation is a good start for Bill. Here for the end of the toe side, you can see is a good stance, ready to attack the heel side, dropping into it nice and aft. You can see here on the heel side, Bill again, like Trent, is over his front foot, back legs overextended, didn't really get the board down. We could look to have a little bit more upper lower body separation as well. The big thing that he can work on to try to correct this issue would be to get the back leg flexed and really get aft at the end of his heel side turns while keeping the shoulder pointed down. This should allow for the turn to get a little more rounded off and create better symmetry. Next rider we have here is Kesley. Just working her way down here. We're going to see with Kesley, she's got a similar image to both Bill and Trent at the end of that heel side. You can see that overextended back leg. This is a common sign if you see sort of more of a pivot move in the snowboard through a heel side. It really prevents the edge from locking in and allowing the turn to be rounded. So you can see at the end of her heels, she's really forced to having to try to rotate her shoulders in order to get that toe side around. And from here, it's just a similar image to those two other guys. And we'll talk about what she can do to improve this. I want to highlight at this point in her turn, this is where she should be dropping back into her aft leg while flexing her joint. That would prevent her from this overextended back leg at the end of her turn. And from here, you can see she kind of goes up. We could use more flexion in the lower joints to roll to that toe side a bit smoother. That would allow for steering underfoot. But all in all, good effort, still riding down. Next rider up is Mikey. You can see as he's rolling down that he'll kind of get a strong toe hook. His upper and lower body aren't getting super separated. He's staying more aligned over his hips. It's causing him to be a little bit more scarvy, less dynamic skidded turns. Big thing we want to work on is getting upper lower body separation as well as developing that forward and aft movement. Just going to take a slower look here at Mikey. You can see edge is definitely carved more so than skidded. He is staying centered, which is awesome, so we can work on developing that forward and aft. You got a little bit over flex in the hips there, but then he's locking in that toe side and more into a carve again. Next I have Jordan here. As he's heading down, you can kind of see sort of a rotational movement with his shoulders from heel to toe. It's not keeping the shoulders straight down the line, and it's getting a little bit more carved. With him, like Mikey, we want to work on developing that upper lower body separation while adding vertical range of movement with his lower joints, and that should shape off these turns pretty effectively. This turn here, you can really see Jordan's head rise. So he did an extended edge change. Then he flexes down into the new edge, keeping that shoulder open. We want to see those shoulders rotate so they're pointed down the fall line the whole time. And then from heel to toe, Again, really get flexed through the ankles to initiate that new edge. So you're going to see he's going to rise up again. Then we want to he's getting down. So he's kind of mistiming the flexion and extension of his lower joints. We want to be flexed at edge change, extended through the control phase of the turn, and that will get us to the short radius dynamic skidded turns. Next we have Kelly. She's making round toe side, a little bit more of an edged heel side. She has a typical getting over the front foot on the heel side. The other big thing that's happening that she tends to go up and over. So you see the head rise on every single turn. She flexes into the end of the turn. Occasionally we get an overflexed toe side hip where she pops out. And so I think next turn here, right there. Look at Kelly at slow motion here. She flexed it down at the end of the turn. Everything comes up to the new edge. Flexes down into the toes, comes up, flexes down into the heels. So we want to try to get her to be flexing at edge change, extending through the control phase, as well as still working on getting a little more upper body lower separation. So she's doing a pretty good job of that on the toe side, just a little bit more potential on the heels there as well. Now we're going to take a look at Jules. Hands are up. He's keeping the shoulder pointed down on the toe side, but he's skidding around that heel again. And you can see the front leg is staying more flexed than the back leg through the heel. So like Bill, the other thing worth noting is Jules is also doing closer to an up and over movement when it comes to transition rather than flexing through the initiation phase. So we'll want to work on getting more range there as well. Gonna watch George now, who's new to the level 2 scene. If you watch his turns, it's pretty up and over. Joints are fairly extended at all times. You can kind of look and see the angle in his knees. It's pretty open on the heels. Stance is centered. Is not really moving super forward and aft. Definitely an up and over. Lots to add in to make it the short radius dynamic skid. Our last rider here is Will. He's doing more of a medium-sized skidded turn. End of the heel side, you can see his back leg is getting overextended there. Shoulders are staying aligned with the board more so. So two big areas of improvement would be to get aft at the end of the turns of the heel side in particular, and more upper and lower body separation, common with quite a number of the other crew.